Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU. Thanks for stopping by. The Miami Hurricanes baseball team improves to 20-17 overall, 6-9 in the ACC with an 8-6 win over Duke to claim this series win. It's their second straight series weekend win over a conference team. Great to see, and really just great to see this team bounce back after a tough 13-3 loss on Friday. The comeback win 5-4 on Saturday, and then the win today. Great being at the ballpark. There's a lot I want to get into about this team with where it's at 6-9 in conference play, which is at the midway point of the 30-game regular season schedule in the ACC. And I do think this team, going into the season, I felt like this team was better than last year's team, but I thought they'd be in that range, that 30-35 win team, right around that 500 mark in the ACC, maybe threaten for a spot in the postseason. That's kind of where I saw this team, and even though they've had a rough start at times, getting swept against Wake Forest, obviously the series losses against your rivals, Florida State, they are still in position, in my mind, to be able to accomplish those goals. I think this team can get on a run. Based on some of the things that I've seen, you're starting to see Daniel Cuvée today had a big game. I said before the game, on the live game thread on InsideTheU.com, I thought he was going to have a big day today based on some of the things that I had been seeing from him at the plate over the last few games. And you saw today the home run to get the Hurricanes on the board, and then he clears the bases with a double to right center. Great to see this guy get it some extra base hits, clearly off the pace of his 24 home run mark from a year ago. But to me, the extra base hits are big, and that's where he's starting to pile this up. And I think he can have a big second half. The ability is still there. Coach Arteaga, speaking with him afterwards in the post-game press conference, felt like, look, maybe it was just a few things going on, and maybe he was pressing a little bit. And Daniel spoke about it too. Just feels like, he's in a good spot right now, in a good groove. And one of the things Arteaga said, that Daniel's doing a good job of hitting the pitches, taking advantage of the opportunities when they're there. And I think it's a great sign for this team and what they need for him in this lineup, especially if right fielder Derek Williams does miss some extended time, comes out of the game Saturday with a hand injury, doesn't play today. Coach Arteaga is a little bit concerned, based on his comments, that he's a little concerned about Derek and what it means for the future. But this team has done a good job of bouncing back and showing some resiliency. And I think that's one of the things that I've noticed throughout the season with the 13-3 loss. And I think you can't evaluate this team on essentially a game-to-game thing, because they do have games like that. And that doesn't mean the next day everything's going to be terrible. I just think they have to literally, and Coach has said that they're doing a good job of it, they have to file it away and move on to the next. And I think that's what this team is. It's not a team right now that, to me, is going to contend for the ACC championship or anything like that. Certainly they can get hot, but to me, I think the realistic goal for this team is kind of eyeing that 15-15 mark in the conference play, which I think is attainable, and also kind of being that top 8 seed and going into the ACC tournament, new format this year. And I think with that, and with some of the wins, if you can get hot, maybe they can be in position to get to the NCAA tournament, which would be a step up for this program. Certainly that's not the end goal. Everybody knows that. But I think it'd be good progress and a good result, and maybe a realistic goal for this team. And so we'll see how things go this year. Now, a lot of things still have to go right. Right now, I feel like this is a pivotal time in the schedule. They've got 8 straight home games. This was game 4, 3-1 right now during this stretch. They got FAU coming up, and then next weekend, another big home series against Georgia Tech, a team that scores a lot of runs, ranked in the top 25, number 18 this week, and Miami has to win this. They don't have a lot of luxury right now of dropping series. Now, there will be some difficult series coming up, and maybe they will lose one. But because of how things started at the beginning, they just don't have a lot of wiggle room, and they don't have a lot of losses that they can just give away. And I think certainly midweek games are important as well. But really looking at this team in conference play, and that's just where I see this team right now. A few things, again, that stood out to me with this weekend. Look, we are seeing the progress of 2 freshman starting pitchers in AJ Siskar, and again today with Tate Durias, just seeing these guys continue to be able to be relied on to give them some innings, keep the runs down, keep their team in the game. And, Tate, it didn't look great early on. Gives up the 2-run homer, some base runners in the first inning. Sometimes you worry about freshmen. Is it going to be 4-0, 5-0, and the team's really in a big hole? And that's not what happened. He settled in, got out of that big jam. Another freshman, Fabio Peralta, had that big throw kind of right behind me there. It catches the ball in right field and makes a great throw to Tanner Smith. The catcher gets the guy out running home, and they're out of the jam. You know, no runs scored there in the fourth. So they did a good job. The freshmen are stepping up. Evan Tavares, 2-run homer today. Good to see him, especially right-handed bat, getting there in the DH spot, going against a lefty. That's what you want to see from a right-handed bat. From a guy that doesn't get a lot of opportunities, you want him to be able to take advantage of that. So that was good. Good to see from those freshmen starting pitchers. The pitching in general is having to go through a little bit of a makeshift. You know, Brian Walters loses his spot in the starting rotation, but they immediately get him in the bullpen. He's got saves in the last 2 days. So good to see. Seems like he's doing well there. Will Smith had a huge day today. Faced 7 batters, struck out 5, didn't allow a hit. He was great, you know. So they're kind of going on the fly, making adjustments with their bullpen, with their pitching staff. Again, like I said earlier, with where this team is, it's not ideal. This isn't a great staff based on the numbers, but they're piecing things together the best they can. And you really, again, got to look at this team game by game. Can you get the win? You win and move on. If you get the loss, you still got to move on. So just overall, a huge day from Dorian Gonzalez Jr. The game's tied at 6 after Miami gives up a 2-run homer. But Dorian leads off and hits a home run to right field, pulls it with that, and he'd been hitting the ball well throughout the game. I felt like he was hitting the ball hard, so he gets a hold of one there, and they go up 7-6, and then leads off the 8th with a big insurance run, another big boost, another home run. So he's got 7 on the season. Arteaga said that Dorian was dealing with a little bit of a flu, so not even feeling great. He's able to do that and kind of lead this team, and that's what this team needs. And what we saw today is exactly what this team has needed all season long from this team. And the 2 key guys returning from last year's team, and Cuvée and Gonzalez, to provide a lot of stability and consistency in the lineup, mixed in with the key transfers, as well as freshmen expected to have key roles. And so everything kind of just played out well for Miami today and getting that win. So we'll see how everything goes moving forward. Again, pay attention to the news with Derek Williams. Really doing a good job hitting the ball. Got his OPS over 1,000, which was great. And coach said he was kind of dealing with it lately, but just playing through it. And then eventually just today, just couldn't go. There was no doubt he couldn't go today. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. But if he's not able to go, just like with Nick Robert, it's going to be done for the season. With the elbow injury, somebody else has to step up, and we'll see how things go moving forward. But overall, just a great weekend for this team in a season with a lot of disappointment. But again, sitting at 20-17, 6-9 in the ACC. We'll see how things go moving forward. Got to continue to win games. There's no doubt about it. So definitely thank everybody for your support, for watching the video. We'll see what happens with this program for this team this season. But there is reason to be encouraged about some of the things that we're seeing of late. Drop in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this team, what you think about this weekend series win. And thanks for watching. Have a good rest of the day. Take care.